I got an email recently, and it's an email that I get a lot, and it's a message that I get a lot, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or wherever else. And that is, what do you do when you get a really angry message from a parent? Or there's a meeting at school with a parent that's particularly angry.
You won't slow blink at me, will you?
Did you drink before you came here?
No, but I'm going to start drinking.
So today I want to talk about how to handle those situations. Now, angry parents and guardians are something that every teacher has to sort of work with at some point. And I don't even like to think of it as dealing with an angry parent. Because dealing with an angry parent sounds like I'm dealing with a headache, and the headache is just something I want to get rid of. And it's not something that I want to work with. But that's what I want with parents. I want to work with parents. I want to be a part of the community, and I want to create a dialogue between us that we can work out, that we can help one another to help this child find success. And that's why I'm always working with parents and never dealing with parents. So I have a few tips that can actually help you make this something that anyone can do. So what I want to do is have you feeling empowered the next time you walk into one of these meetings. So here's a few tips to help you do that. One, whenever I get an email or I have a parent that just shows up in my classroom or in the hallway or in the office, no matter what the look on their face says, no matter what they say to me when they see me, my response is always the same thing. And that is, I am so glad that you reached out. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you wrote me an email. I'm so glad that you called. Because what that does is it takes you from defense to offense. It takes you from being worried and feeling like you have to defend yourself to saying, no, I'm glad this happened. Now, even if you're not glad it happened, even if you're scared to death.
Okay, so the scariest environment imaginable.
Just saying that you're excited, it's going to elicit a different response than someone that was expecting the opposite. And that's because of this. And the second thing I want to tell them is no matter what they say, what I want them to know before I say anything, before we talk about grades, before we talk about behavior, before we talk about anything that's happened, you always say, look, I want to have one thing be very, very clear in the beginning of this conversation. Your child's success is the only thing I'm concerned about right now. And the reason I say that to parents is I want them to know that I'm not concerned about my reputation. I'm not concerned about who was right, if I was wrong, if I have to stick up for myself, if you've got it twisted and the kid was lying to you and all of this stuff. The only thing I want as a teacher is to help that kid find success. Because in fact, education's only ever about the students.
You're shameless.
And that was an unintentional plug. I just happened to have this shirt on and then I saw it. So go to realrapwithreynolds.com now and get your shirt. Number 3 is remembering that parents know more about their kids than we do. Now look, kids might have really opened up to you. You might have known kids for a number of years, but in general, parents have raised their kids since birth. And if you're a parent, you know there's some sort of intuitive connection with your children oftentimes. There's a level of empathy and care there that teachers just can't have all the time. And this is a good thing, because what that allows you to do is ask parents certain questions that are going to help you to get to a place of a fuller and better understanding to help that particular child. And so I'll tell parents, look, I realize that as the parent, you know far more than any of us do in this room. And so what I'm looking for is a few things that are going to help us to meet your child's needs. And some of those questions are like, 1, what's the best class your kid ever had? Whether it was the teacher or the subject matter, something about that class made it just suck less than the other ones, even if they didn't like school. Or maybe that was the teacher that made them want to go to school. Maybe that was the class that made them want to show up because it was Tuesday and they were doing a lab and they loved that, or there was a class trip, or there was a special day because a teacher was doing something special in class. Every kid has that teacher at some point. And so by finding out who that teacher is, it's going to allow you to see what works for a kid. And then of course, it's the opposite way. You're asking for a class where that student didn't find success. You're not looking for names here. So you're not asking someone to like put a teacher on blast, but you're asking for, what sort of behaviors don't work with your child. So I know as an educator, sometimes raising my voice works with some kids.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Sometimes not raising my voice ever is what has to happen to work for a kid.
There's no need to raise your voice, sir.
Sometimes it's private talks in the hallways. Sometimes it's keeping someone after class to talk to them. Sometimes it's calling a parent. There are a number of different ways to deal with students. But what you're trying to do as a teacher is to reach out to parents and ask them, hey, what has worked in the past and what hasn't worked in the past? And so you know before a situation even comes to a head, what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. And in that same conversation of questions that I might ask parents, one of those is, what do I need to know about your student that's not gonna show up in an IEP, that's not gonna show up in a 504, that's not gonna show up in some sort of paperwork or something that I find out from another teacher, something that only you know that would give me a little insight into who your child is. And in just asking that, I mean, you're showing parents that you're willing to go beyond paperwork or reports or something so cold as that, and just asking on a human level, like, what is your kid like? What are they not like? What has happened in their life? What's going on right now? What should I know about? In my experience, parents love that so much, it just makes them feel so much better because it's an expression of care that I don't think parents hear enough. And the last thing I think you can do when you're working with parents is to leave them with an action plan. No one wants to hear a bunch of difficult things about their student. They don't want to hear that they just cheat, that they sleep in class all the time, that they don't do work, that they are not indeed finding success. But when you can leave someone feeling empowered so that when they leave, they know what to do. They know what they can do next. Walking out of here, they don't have to get in the car and figure it out and it's yelling at someone and telling them they're going to start doing their work. You're going to start staying after school. You're going to make stuff up. It's letting folks know on the front end exactly what can be done. And that can be as simple as letting parents and guardians know when a child can come in for tutoring or when office hours are available, what they can do for makeup work. And if you don't have makeup work, like how can they look at the work going forward and know how to meet those goals going forward. When things like tests and quiz retakes come up, every Wednesday in our class, you can retake a test or quiz that we had the previous week, but it's only during a certain period of time. If you miss that time period and you don't let me know ahead of time, and there weren't some sort of extenuating circumstances, you miss the opportunity to retake a test or quiz. And then just letting parents know how to get a hold of you. Reminding folks at the end that their child's success is your primary concern, so that whether they can email you or call you or text you, whatever that is for you, letting folks know that and going out, they feel like they have somebody that they can partner with to help their young person grow. And be very clear about your availability as well. I tell parents, I'm only available during school hours from 8 to 4 every day. My kids are at an age now that I'm really understanding that they're gonna grow up soon and they're gonna be out of the house faster than I'd really like. So I cherish that time when I'm not in school and I use it to build my business. So I'm available from 8 to 4 every day. And if you hit me up after hours, I'll get back to you first thing the next morning. And that's okay, because what it does is it doesn't leave parents wondering when they're gonna hear back from you or why you didn't call back or text back or email back faster than that. They know on the front end when and where I'm available. And that's it, everyone. I really think that going from defense to offense in these meetings is the primary way that you help move things forward. You help move the needle from a bad place to a good place. And when we can remind parents that we're actually there for their child, that we only want their success, I just think that that does nothing but build community. And as we're always saying, teaching is a communal activity. I'm also noticing how much my chair scuffs up my wall when I'm sitting back here, and maybe I guess we can't edit that out. Real quick, if you know someone that's having a hard year, you know someone that could use this video, please go ahead and share it with them. And the buttons and the bells and whistles are all around so you can remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so that you can catch the next video. Peace.